Hello, Craftin' buddies. It's Late Night Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Crafting, coming to you at 11:51 p.m. here in Wisconsin on Thursday, August 28th. So, whew, I made it before midnight again. Let me take just a second to get my iPad synced up. There's a little bit of a delay. That way I can watch if anybody's joining me live. If you do, feel free to comment, collaborate, suggest. Appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Share, subscribe to my page if you haven't already. I appreciate it. It helps me share more of what I love, which is crafting in a variety of mediums. So tonight, quickie announcements. Stampin' Up! Has the In Color sale going on for just a couple more days. It ends on August 31st. It's for all the 2025 to 2027 In Color products. There's a whole bunch of them. I have ordered a bunch of these cloud cover ink pads, and I'll order more if I need to. My incentive or my gift to those ordering at least $35 worth of product from me through the end of August 31st. So while this sale is still on, it doesn't have to be sale items, but if you do a $35 product purchase, so that's before tax and shipping, I will gift you a full-size pad of cloud cover. These are as is. Stampin' Up! Is not selling them to customers because they weren't happy with some of the lots and the color shifting. So I can't sell it, but I can gift it to you, and I'll do that on an incentive. So if you do a $35 purchase with me, I'll gift you an ink pad. On the 6th day, this catalog will be going live, so September 3rd. Watch for it. I can only show you the front of the catalog. I cannot show you the inside until September 3rd. So I'm looking forward to that. There's a lot of fun stuff in there. So last night, we worked on making this cute little bag, or it could be an ornament, with this Elegant Pines Snowflakes Designer Series paper. I showed all the papers. If you're interested in those, go and look at yesterday's video, and I showed all the different sides. So there's 6 different designs. Yeah, 2 of each, and they're double-sided. You know how Stampin' Up! Paper is. So this is what we did, and that was created using these branching out dies. I used the biggest label die to make the bag itself, and then I used 2 in to do the layer with the Designer Series paper. Decorated the back. I used some of the Mossy Meadow and Gold ribbon from the Painterly Pears items, and the sentiment is from Branching Out. So I might use a sentiment from that again tonight, or I might use Peace on Earth. We'll see. So I'm just going to keep that there. I'm going to get this paper out of the way. I do have some things cut ahead of time, and I prepped my pieces, hopefully, ahead of time with some Mod Podge. So I'd never used this until earlier this year. One of the gals that crafts with me brought over a project for us to do for Easter. They were these adorable little Easter eggs. And she had the wood forms, and they're only about an 1/8 inch thick. So she brought over the wood forms, and they had Mod Podge on them already, and it had dried. And then she had her little iron with her, and we picked out our paper and we ironed the paper on because the heat from the iron activates the adhesive, and the paper stuck on so beautifully. There were no wrinkles or lines from any wet adhesive. It was pretty slick. I'd never used it before. Who knew? So I was old when I found out how to use that. So I thought tonight I would kind of work off of this from last night and make kind of coordinating things, I guess. And we'll do two. I used a piece of the Designer Series paper to cut out some of the pine boughs because I thought they looked really slick. It almost looks like there's some snow on them because of the design of the paper. So we'll see how those look. But I also cut some out of the Pretty Peacock because if I use this sheet, there's Pretty Peacock in here. So we'll see how it looks. So I haven't done one of these before, so we're gonna experiment together. So I took one of the sheets of 12 by 12 and I just divided them in 4-inch strips. And I'm gonna go ahead and just trace these and kind of loosely fussy cut them. I'm not a fussy cutting fan, but it is what it is. If you have like a sanding block, that would come in handy for this. I'm relatively certain. So I could cut this a little on the narrow side from where I traced, because the trace line is going to be generous, of course. But I think what I'll do is I will just use the heat, let it affix, and then when I'm done, I will just sand off any that's hanging over the edges. So in my head it'll look cute, but we never know. We never know if it's going to turn out decent or not. But I also have this heart frame, and I am going to make a baby gift out of this. That's actually the back. Not that it matters. It's going to look pretty much the same. But I'm going to make a baby gift out of this with a newborn baby picture in there for our nephew and his wife. Hopefully she's not watching. And I'm a little later than what I had intended because, of course, you know, one thing leads to another and you get behind. But I was looking for, through some of my stash of paper, not that anybody knows what that's like, but I was looking for some cute baby prints. I know I have some. I used some not too long ago, but I might have used it up. I don't know. All right, so this little piece I can save for something else. So when we're done with this video, sometime tomorrow, hopefully with any luck, is that the right one? Or did I cut that just way wrong? Well, how did I do that? Oh, maybe it goes like that. Whew. I thought, how could I have cut it that bad? I just had it upside down. All right, so Stella, welcome. Welcome, welcome. I am trying my hand at making a little door hanger. We're using a little Mod Podge tonight and some Designer Series paper, and I forgot what it's called already. This snowflake stuff. The Elegant Pine Snowflakes. Fifi, welcome. So I'm using this paper again, and I mentioned earlier in the video, I didn't show all of the sheets again because I showed them just last night. So if you don't have the paper and you're interested in all of the designs, just pop onto the replay from yesterday, and I do show all of the designs, so both sides of the paper. So I thought from this bag yesterday, bottleneck cards. This, you mean? If you did it out of cardstock, these are really hard, so I don't know that they would hang on a bottle very good if I'm thinking of the right thing. I made some cute ones many years ago. Stampin' Up! Had a really cute set that had wine and whatnot on it. So here's this. So I have my cute little iron, and I should probably get maybe a piece of chipboard to put under this. Hold on. Hold on. I would hate to risk cracking my glass mat. I don't know if it would. So all I did with this, I prepped these this afternoon. It dries really fast. I just poured some Mod Podge on here. So yes, but cut like the one you're making now and fold it under. Yeah, so you're talking about out of cardstock. I have done those. In fact, I might be able to go and find it on my shelf because I was just looking at it the other day. I'm getting ready for a vendor fair on Saturday, so I'm trying to sift out all of my old things and put stuff out, so that's why I know that was there. But with the Mod Podge, you just brush it on nice and even and let it dry, and it's not sticky at all. Oh yeah, that would be a good idea though, to use that as a template. I don't have a wine bottle in here or anything, but yeah, you could actually use a smaller hole, you know, like a punch that's smaller, because I think the one that I used was not as big as that. But anyway, then I let it dry, and it dried really quick. So I am going to bring the base over here so I can set this down. And I'm going to put that on another piece of chipboard so it doesn't melt my craft tabletop. All right. And I found these in, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I found these in some of my mother's crafting things. So we're just gonna iron this on. Looks like I either cut a little closer or shifted a little bit, but I'm not gonna worry about that. And look at that. I was just amazed. I was absolutely amazed. So it looks like I could heat a little bit more there, a little bit more up here. But then I don't have to worry about squishing my glue, having ripples under it. Isn't that slick? I was just amazed. So then what I'll do is I will find either some sandpaper, or I don't know what happened to the sanding block I had. What did you miss? Well, I just ironed this on. So that's what you missed. I don't know when you left. So I found these wood shapes. It's a door hanger in some of my mom's old crafting stuff. And she passed away like 2 years before your husband did. She passed away in 21. I think your husband passed away in 23, if I remember correctly. But anyway, I was going through some of her old things because they're all in my crafting space, because it was our crafting space when we built our addition. So I put Mod Podge on this earlier today, just with the a thick flat brush, put it on there. I actually coated both sides so that I could put decorative on the back of this as well. Let it dry. It's nice and smooth. It's not tacky at all. And then you just use the iron to put it on there. So it would get glued down if you use it when it's wet too. It does dry kind of quickly, but then it also might not be smooth and you might get wrinkled paper. And the other thing with that is that if it's wet or tacky and you're putting your paper down, if you have it not quite straight, I don't know how well it will lift up and let you shift. This way it's dry. I can lay it on there how I want, and then I can apply the heat and it's not gonna, it shouldn't really shift, okay? So anyway, so there's that. So what I thought I would do is I could cut another piece for the other side, of course, and I think these are the same size. So that way it could be reversible. So one side could be like that and one side could be like this. But I think I'll save that for later because I want to do this sheet too because I'm curious. I want to see how that looks because I really like that side too. But I cut some of the pieces out of the designer series paper too because I liked that coloring. So what I'm going to do is basically just lay these things out here and we can kind of play with the design. And I also colored some basic beige ribbon with my alcohol blends, and I'll show you that in just a second. So kind of working with this from yesterday, we could just decorate a bunch of pieces on here, and you could even like to set this off. We can put some of these around here and trim them. And I thought I did some pieces. Oh, there they are. I did some pieces in Old Olive too. I have a little obstacle course here in my crafting space because of all the boxes getting ready to go. So I could do this too. But then I thought I could just split it and use it as a border so that that would stand up a little bit. There's not as much Old Olive in this as there is the Pretty Peacock though, so I might want to do some labels in Pretty Peacock instead. But if we just cut this label in half, and it doesn't have to be pretty because nobody's going to see the other side. These dies they're gorgeous. I love them. Then all we have to do is glue these a little bit apart, and it looks like we've got a bigger die behind it. That's not a new trick, so I'm sure you ladies already know that. But if we were to put this on here, or even we could have it coming from between the layers too. What else did I have? Yeah, I think the Pretty Peacock would be prettier. So I've got some smaller sprigs. Oh, and I cut out with the die. Where did the die go? This little pine cone die. Yesterday I just cut out the early espresso cardstock. And today I thought I would do it from the pattern paper because that looks pretty cool, but I also did them in pecan pie. And I could use my blending brush to add a little darker hue to those. And I think what I'll do is I'll go get a little scrap of Pretty Peacock because I think that would look better. And then we'll have to decide what we want to put on here. I was thinking the piece on Earth would fit in here quite nicely. Or this one, wishing you a day filled with many happy moments, was on there, but I kind of like how this one filled the label. Yeah, the tiny pine cones I think are adorable. And I really liked how they accented there. It just kind of made it stand out a little bit. So the other thing then is, do I want to do Pretty Peacock for the sentiment or Early Espresso? So let me go get a couple little scraps here. We'll get the Early Espresso too. We'll see what looks better. All right, so let me move that. I'm just going to move this over while I get my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine out. My little Bossy Bessie here. I did not fussy cut the pine cones. I used the die from that set. So I used this little pine cone die right out of the designer series paper. That's the only thing that I really saw that worked with the designer series paper. Although I did use this sprig with the DSP. Can you see that? With that DSP from the back side here. So this piece, the back side, I did that sprig to get this because I liked the coloring. It almost looked like it was snowed upon. All right, so where was I? We're going to do some Pretty Peacock with a label. Whoops, I got a little avalanche going on here. I don't want to lose my pieces. Lots going on. All right, I think we're good. All right, so let me get that label die again. I really like these label dies. I think they're just really elegant kind of looking, but they're stitched. And I like it with the corners concave. Yeah, the pine cones lined up really quite well. There's little flecks of white on the edges, but who would know, right? I think I'm just going to cut 2 of these right away. Since I have it here, why not, right? In case I mess something up. And you can see I'm leading with the corner, not with the flat edge, even though it's just minimally. I try not to lead with that flat edge because it's harder for the machine to pop everything through. All right. So let's do them out of the Early Espresso as well. And you can see I'm kind of random in how I stagger my plates. I just try not to have full thickness of all the plates going through at the same time. Sometimes I stair step them. Well, Sala, that is so nice of you to say. I have to tell you that people come and go. I can see the analytics afterwards. And some nights I've had, you know, I think last night there were like 17 people popping in and out. Only a handful come on and comment. And I think some people just want to see crafting. They don't want to hear chit-chatting. But I think it's fun to chit-chat when you ladies are here, because you can offer suggestions, and you know, I feel like the ones that come on here are like my friends, you know. So if I met you guys at a Stampin' Up event or something, I feel like felt like we knew each other forever. So let's go ahead and outline this one. Hopefully I'll be able to see this. I might have to outline it on the other side because that'll be lighter. And then I think I'll do this right away because I forgot to do that last time. Yeah, I can see that. You might not be able to, but I can see it if I have it angled toward the light. And then again, I am not a fussy cutting fan, but you know, I've been doing it more just because I figure it's gonna build character, right? I see some of these crafters just whiz through and fussy cut so fast, and I think maybe I'm just too, I want it to be too perfect. I don't know. I'll snip that off and get rid of this. As far as some of the channels having visibility and some not as much, part of that comes with how many people come on and how long they hang out. Oh, my little iron wants to shut off. Give me a minute. This is a little Cricut mini iron. Isn't it adorable? I thought that's so fun. The friend that showed me the Mod Podge also had that little iron. So if Jill checks in, thank you, Jill. She's the one that showed me Mod Podge. She showed me the little iron. And we did the paper bouquet kit together. And they turned out really nice, but then when she went home, she decided to not have it as a bouquet, and she made it into a wreath. So she's really creative. She had a really cool glue gun too. And I thought, oh, that one's really a lot neater than the one I have. The one I had is just the regular thick gloppy glue gun, and hers has a nice little fine tip. Thought, ooh, I'm gonna get me one of those. So I did. I got 2 of them because one is like a little pencil squeezer thing. Those are pretty cool too. I don't remember what the brand name is on them. But if it makes it easier for me to craft, it's worth it, right? And this is a little challenging to see my pencil marks, but I'm almost done, so thanks for hanging with me. Yeah, I had never used Mod Podge, and this was Easter time, so like April, right? March, April, when we were making these things. They were little eggs, and they stood on little dowels, and she had, you know, drilled the little starter hole for the dowels to go in, and we glued them in there, and then we're looking at them like, oh, that just, something doesn't look right. So I found some wire. We made some little chicken feet out of them. They're really cute. That's going to be fun. All right, so let's turn this over and do this side now. Hopefully I won't mess myself up like I did the first one where I had it upside down and scared myself. Because I put Mod Podge on both sides, we're going to be able to decorate both sides, and then it can be reversible. So maybe what I should do is, however I do the label, maybe I should put little Velcro dots on it, and they could take it off and reverse it. That would be impressive, right? But then if I cut this in half, then I'd have to put another one behind it to hide that. But I had heard about, excuse me, I had heard about Mod Podge before my friend Jill showed me And I think there was actually some Mod Podge in my mom's crafting things because she did all kinds of different stuff. But I always thought it was like to cover things that you had already put together. Kind of like a, I don't know, maybe like a coating for a paper mache thing. I had no idea. I don't even know why I thought that, but that's what I thought it was. So imagine my surprise when she came over and she said, oh yeah, these already have glue on them. All we have to do is iron it. I'm like, what? Who knew? And I love it just because to me it just seems easier than having wet glue going on. All right, I know this part's boring, sorry. So what's going on with everybody today? We're almost done with this one. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't tried it. Maybe I should try that. I've got all kinds of little wood pieces. I could certainly just do some experimenting. It would be curious. I mean, I'm curious to know. It'd be interesting to find out. Fifi, you are a busy woman. But I love it. I love getting together with my gal pals. And you did physical therapy besides. How is your knee doing, by the way? Sally, you're trying to get your day started. Well, you know, watching crafting videos I think is a good start to the day. This is getting pretty close to being done. There we go. Well, I'm glad to hear that. All right, so this one is going to go on this side. So let me iron. Who knew that I would go back to enjoying ironing? It's been so long since I've had to iron anything. All right, whoops. Put that over there. So I die cut a whole bunch of these pieces ahead of time, so at least I kind of got that going. All right. I think we're pretty well lined up here. Oops. Yep, I think that's pretty good. Let's iron this little girl here. When I was a kid, my mother used to make me iron my dad's handkerchiefs, of all things. I'm sure because they were just flat pieces of white fabric, cotton fabric, and nobody would see them since they'd be folded in his pocket, but it just seemed like such a silly exercise. Okay, so I'll glue a little bit, or I'll iron a little bit more over there, but everything else seems pretty good. And then I need to find my sanding block or just get some sandpaper. I've got some sandpaper in here. Mod Podge is making it stick to the wood. Fifi, I think you came in after I explained everything, but with these wood pieces this afternoon, I took the Mod Podge and I took just this paintbrush, just a cheapy paintbrush, and just poured some on here, not a whole lot because it spreads. So yeah, I put the Mod Podge right on the wood, and then I just spread it out, made sure, you know, you can watch the glimmer so you can see that it's all wet. And I got it all nice and smooth, and I just let it dry, and it only took a couple minutes to dry. And, you know, I've been letting it sit until tonight just because nothing happens to it. It's just on there. And it's not sticky to the touch, but when you heat it, excuse me, when you heat it, it activates the adhesive in it again. So, this one is going to go here now. But anyway, I'll have to sand these off, these little edges here. So I'll get a little sanding block and try to take care of that, or I could probably just kind of push those edges in a little bit. I just don't want to try to trim them with my scissors. I'd rather have them a little big than a little small. So, and then once this gets on here, they're really not going to see a whole lot, but I'll be able to sand that down. I think it'll be fine. And I just have this chipboard on here because I don't want to have the heat do anything to my glass mat. It's supposed to be pretty tolerant of all of our crafting techniques, but I don't want to take the chance. And this has a couple of heat settings, so maybe if I do it a little warmer, maybe it'll set better. Yes, you could probably do this with a napkin as well. I may try that too. All right, so it just heated up to the warmer. But I could tell it's getting warmer because when I touch it, it's warmer. But how fun is that? All right, so now I just need to do, I don't know, this one I almost think I want this design on both sides because I don't, what do you think? So should I do the back side? Yeah, I've seen people do the napkins with glue. I've not seen it with Mod Podge, so I think I'll try it with the Mod Podge. So should I do the old olive side or, okay, so that they would be reversible. Fair enough. Let's go ahead and trace this on here and a little bit more fussy cutting. Oops. But I'll try to be fast, right? Okay. Hopefully I've been staying on camera with my fussy cutting. Not that it matters. I mean, you guys know how to fussy cut, but... See, I don't know, how did that, how do you use plastic wrap? So you don't iron it, you just stick it on, or do you iron it? So you must have to put like a towel on top of the plastic wrap. Parchment paper or something to keep it from sticking on the iron. I've never watched anybody do it, and I've never looked up how to do it. But if you tell me how, I'll try it. Oh, and my guest stamper was here today. And she's overnight. She's going to be here just a couple of nights with us, and then she starts school on Tuesday. We went to her school today to their Meet the Teacher event. Her teacher seems very nice. Very excited to get back to school, she is. But she wanted to do a video. Grandma, you iron it between baking sheets, making a sandwich. Okay. Interesting. One of these days I'll give it a try. Not this weekend though, because I need to focus all day Friday on getting the rest of my stuff kind of packed up and ready to go. I take old product, so old stamp sets, dies, bundles, old ribbons, old designer series paper. I take kits. I'll have a make and take for them, and I'll have catalogs, and they can sign up for basically a giveaway. And hopefully I'll find, you know, some people that want to do more crafting, you know, and they might want to come to my classes. So I'm not doing it so much even for the sales, although that'll be nice to get rid of some of my older things. But I like to have the contacts for new customers. And I do open studio time, usually the third or fourth Monday of each month, and I call it MOST. So Monday open studio time is the MOST acronym. So they can bring whatever they want and craft, and then we can just visit and get a little bit of crafting done, but it's just nice to hang out together. There. Let's see how well that stuck. Pretty good. I could probably trim that one. That was hanging off well enough that I could get my scissors in there. The only thing the only special thing we're doing is this vendor fair on Saturday. Our granddaughter will be with us until Sunday. There's one more county fair that we're planning on taking her to on Sunday. All right, I'm gonna get this out of the way. But that's it. How about you? Do you have any Labor Day plans? Fun. All right, I'm gonna turn my little iron off because I don't think we need it anymore. And it leaves me a red light when it tells me it's still hot too, so I don't touch it. And Fifi, the way I look at it is every day is part of a 3-day weekend for me, because being retired, I don't have to be anywhere on any particular day. I can kind of do what I want. So which side should we work on first? Now this one, the old olive, will stand out better. So I think we'll do that. We'll put old olive there. And then on the back side, if I do a Velcro dot, I could just put this on to kind of cover it so they won't see the split in the middle. Yeah, retiring is the best. So I think I'm going to use a little bit of our snail here. Oh, I should probably put a sentiment on there before I do this. Let me put that on my silicone mat. So this one I'm going to use the Pretty Peacock. And I'm going to do Peace on Earth. So I put it down on the silicone mat, of course, because that's going to lift up really easily. movie night with the kids. That's always fun. We like doing puzzles too. Riley really enjoys doing puzzles. That looks pretty good. I should probably wash that off in case I use a different color so I don't forget that there's pretty peacock on there. All right, so let me close this so I don't make a mess. And then let me peel this off of here and try this again. And I'm just kind of lining this up so that the corner here is at the stitch line on the old olive. And if we were doing movie night here with Riley, we would be doing popcorn, because movies should have popcorn. I keep shifting this just a little too far. There, that's pretty good. All right. So then this one, I am just going to affix right there because that's going to cover up my stuff. And I think I'm going to use glue for that one. Oh, what kind of movies? So romantic comedies are good. Action films are okay. I'm not into horror flicks, but usually what we end up going to the movies for is kids' movies with Riley if we go. So Sally, your youngest is 5. I can't see part of that. She's been able to start doing more challenging ones together. Oh, the puzzles, yes. Yes. That's fun. Oh, and see, with me with the horror films, I just kind of laugh through them because some of them are just so fake. I'm like, this is not real. It's hilarious. So let's see here. If I was to put this on dimensionals, I would have to also put my Velcro dot on a dimensional. So I'll have to keep that, because if I do a Velcro dot here, maybe I'll just do different ones for each side, because that old olive won't work on there. So we're just going to put that on here. So let's decorate a little bit, see how we want this to look. And I did Pretty Peacock, but I think those are going to be too dark on that one. I'm going to save the Pretty Peacock ones for here. A couple of these, I didn't get all the little negative spaces out here. Your 5-year-old can't sit still for a movie yet? Yeah, that's a hard one. We tried to pick movies that were short when we first started taking our granddaughter to the movies. I don't know if I like that on there. It might work with those. These were, I had cut out from another project that we didn't use. So we'll kind of go like this. I think I'll just use the same sentiment. And I think I'll do early espresso on this one. Let me go get that one. I should have grabbed that ink before. If they're interesting and short enough. So Fifi, see, the horror movies don't really bother me that way. Maybe if I lived alone it would be different, but since I have the big Italian guy here, whoever wanted to come in would be met with not a fun time for them. Yeah, that's probably the way to do it, is just do the movies at home for now. Oh, and I wouldn't have had to glue that one on there, but it will give it more stability. But I'm going to go ahead and trim this one too, unless we just offset it like this. That might be pretty. We'll make this one a little bit different. I think I'll do that. So I'm not going to go to the top and the side here. And we'll just put these together this way. I thought we'd do just a couple of things that aren't cards. All right, so that'll go here. And then I want some of these berry pieces in here because those add to the brightness and the fun. And if we put this like here, we can do a couple of these pine cones. Oops. See what happens when you don't have a plan? It just, things come together, right? All right, so I like that one. And don't let me forget about the ribbon. I got ribbon sitting here too. And then this one, I think that the pretty peacock might be a good touch on there. Maybe I'll snip these apart. Maybe dauber the ends of the plain ones. Yeah, I could do that. Just give them a little extra oomph. I might even be able to do it with a blending brush because these have little snips in them to make like the textured pine cone. I just have to kind of push them up maybe. Let's see. I'm not very good with my daubers because I don't use them very often. But let's give it a whirl. Oh, Fifi, it's probably better just to not watch them, right? I went to, I think the last true horror movie I went to was when they had the movie Saw. And it was, it was weird. And the person I went with was just freaked out by horror movies, and I'm basically like laughing throughout the movie. That's kind of cool. Can you see that on there? With the dauber on there, that was a good idea. It gives it some depth on there. Yeah, I'm not really into violent movies either. You know, if it's like, whoops, like an action movie or something that's really violent, that doesn't, I guess I've seen too much of it in reality, you know, because being an EMT, working in the ER, you see a lot of stuff. And when I watch things on TV or at the movies, and I don't watch a whole lot. My husband's a channel surfer, so I might be doing something else but listening to whatever's on the TV, and then all of a sudden there's something else on there. And I'm like, what happened to that show? And he's changed the channel, you know? So I keep moving these because I'm going to glue them on later. I didn't really want to waste the time gluing. Yes, you are correct. Schindler's List was very good. Um, and those kind of more historical things, um, I guess, are more appealing to me because there's more of a purpose to the movie. My husband and I will be going to see the Downton Abbey movie, though. It's already on our calendar for September 12th. Surprisingly, he likes those British movies and shows. We watch, there's a couple that, The Green Mile was a very good movie. Comedies are good, yeah. We watch Death in Paradise on TV. That's by us on Saturday nights. I agree. I think it is hard to find good comedies just because nobody's coming up with new stuff. Although we did go to a live comedy show a couple of weeks ago when my husband's family was here. Some of his sister and brother-in-law were here from Arizona. And we went to a comedy club. And it was really quite fun. So if I'm going to do something like that, I would actually rather see it live. Just like if we're watching, American football or hockey, I would rather go to see them actually play in person. Music, plays, seeing Phantom of the Opera on Broadway in New York was awesome. That's my kind of thing. Yeah, if you can find things that you like to watch together, if your tastes are different, then it's probably not quite as much fun. I do like it with the dauber on the edge of there. Thanks for that idea. I always forget about that. And I'm just going to add a little bit to this too. I think I need a little bit more ink though. And that'll get rid of just that little bit of white too that was on the edge of the designer series paper. I don't know if the dauber made quite as much impact on the die cut ones, but it certainly didn't hurt. I don't think I've ever seen The Hangover, but a lot of times that's what it was. Something you're thinking, oh, I'm not going to like that, but it turns out to be really funny. Dumb and Dumber, if you've ever seen that, it's just stupid dumb, and I didn't enjoy that one at all. All right, come on. I'm trying to get my pine cones to comply. So Fifi, okay. Yeah, I mean it definitely was stupid. And maybe now maybe I'm in a different frame of mind in my life and I would enjoy it more. Um but I it's just like, okay, what's the point? All right. When my kids were growing up, I think we watched like what was it, like Mystery at the Museum or something? That was more of a teen kind of movie, maybe. All right, what do you think of those? Airplane. That one is funny because of the puns. Yeah, that definitely makes it. When Harry Met Sally, I thought was funny. Sleepless in Seattle was another one I liked. Serendipity. Yeah, I think it's Night at the Museum. Didn't it have like Rich Moran or somebody? It's like where the the displays in the museum after hours, they come to life. And it was really kind of, it was entertaining. Maybe someday I'll watch The Hangover. I've never seen that one. Serendipity is one I like. That's a romantic comedy. And Notting Hill. I don't know that that was so much a comedy, but that's more of a British one too. The Fisher King. What's that one about? Yeah, depending on the language. I mean, I can only handle so many F-bombs if that's what they're going to do. All right, so I have a lot of extra pieces again, just because I wasn't sure what we'd be cutting out. But if I decorate the other sides to be similar, I may just leave them blank. Or maybe put a little message on there, but... So then we have all these leftover pieces. So these strips, because of how big they were, I just cut my designer series paper into 4-inch strips and did the tracing in Mod Podge, and I'll have these pieces I can do some cards with. So that's all I have. Let's see what comments I might have missed. The Holiday. I have not seen The Holiday. Who's in that, or what's that about? Oh, The Fisher King. If Robin Williams is in it, it's got to be good. I always liked him. Tragic ending to his life. One of my all-time favorite movies, and I don't even know if I would like it anymore, was The Big Chill. And I couldn't even tell you the storyline anymore on it. But it was interesting at the time. So a comedy that actually has a serious storyline for Fisher King. I'll have to try to remember that. Yeah, that one's, yeah. The Big Chill is definitely dated. That was like, what, from the 80s? I'm thinking maybe. Maybe, I don't know. I don't remember. Huh. I'll have to write those down. Yeah, Serendipity is just, I think, a cute movie. I've watched that. I used to watch it every year for Christmas, and that's a pretty old movie now, too. Okay, so The Fisher King, and that's the one with Robin Williams. Okay. I'll have to put these notes in my electronic list of movies to watch and books to read. And then what was the other one? The Holiday. I'll have to look that one up too. I don't spend a whole lot of time in front of the TV. So you like superhero movies? Huh. Oh, from Titanic. Who was that? Kate Winslet? I'm horrible at remembering actors and actresses usually. I'll see their faces, but everything's just kind of like at face value to me. Yeah, I remember hearing about the Dead Poets Society. I never watched that one. Well, if we're talking about Kate Winslet too, the Titanic. I watched that one when I was single. The Goodbye Girl, that's a classic one too, isn't it? Yeah, I just don't, I'm unimpressed by the celebrities, so when they're in a movie, it's just like, yeah, whatever. Whoever you are. I can't even think of an actress named Marsha, so except Marsha Brady from the Brady Bunch. I'm trying to think if there were any other movies that I really liked. You know, I did see my son and I when he was going out to college in New York. We saw Phantom of the Opera, so that would have been like 2004. It's been a while. And then when the movie was released in theaters, we went to see that. Yeah, Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. Yeah, that was a fun show. All right, ladies, it is almost 1 a.m. here where I'm at. So I'm going to call it a night for me. Um, Fifi, enjoy the rest of your evening. Sala, enjoy your day. Thank you all for popping in. I can see we have a few people watching that haven't chimed in. So I hope you enjoyed these little simple projects, and I will eventually, I'm about a week behind, I think, several days behind posting things to my Facebook page, which is also Lori's Little Bit of Crafting. But I like to post the projects there so that if you make something similar to what we've done here, you can always add a picture in the comments there. You can't do pictures here on YouTube. So that's why I put them on my Facebook page as well. And I could go live on my Facebook page, but I need a few more followers there. So Facebook changed their rules. You can't go live until you've got, I think, 100 followers on Facebook. And I've had that page for years. It just, I don't think as many people follow Facebook as much as they do like YouTube, because I've got a bunch on YouTube. So I enjoy all the people that follow me. I appreciate it. So yeah, thanks for giving me the likes and the hearts. I appreciate it so much. Thanks for popping in. When I get this little project done too, I will post a picture of it, not with the baby's picture in it, because I'm not sure mom and dad would want her face plastered on the internet. But when I get the paper and my little decor things on here, I will post a picture of that on my Facebook page as well. So thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. Thank you for collaborating with me. Fifi, thanks for asking me to, or suggesting that I do the daubers on those pine cones, because I think that really made a difference. And I don't know if you can see those, but I think they turned out really cute. So I will see everybody probably in what, like 22, 23 hours. I'll be back again for another Late Night Lori episode. So until next time, happy crafting.